Empanada? Unsa na? Unsa na? Ay. Wala ko'y kwarta, oy. Nabili na akong pitaka. Ayaw na. So, okay, padayon ta. So, since ang ato ang x is 0 from the left man, and ato ang x is odd, so that's why ang ato ang limit is negative infinite. And this one is from the left na pod, unya, even ang ato ang x, so that's why ang ato ang limit is positive infinite. Okay na. So, madepende siya sa ato ang mga conditions dire. Man ina ninyo. Okay, so in lesson 1, we have mentioned that when the limit of function f as x approaches a number a is either positive infinite or negative infinite. So we say that f has an infinite limit. So limit of f of x as x approaches to a is equal to positive infinite means that if that f increases without bound as x approaches to a. So nagka-increase daw ang atuang f without bound as x approaches to a. What is bound? Okay, leaping movement upward. So pataas siya. So nag-increase siya pataas. Nagka-increase up to infinite as x approaches to a. So kanina pod, so f of x as x approaches to negative, mag-burn siya. As x approaches to a is equal to negative infinite, so means that f decreases. So nagkaubos siya without bound as x approaches a. What is bound? Wait lang, mangita tag exact word ay exact meaning sa bound. Okay. Bound in mathematics without limits. Okay. Pwede ram day butang without limits kanong gi-bound pa man. Lagot ko ha. So means that f increases without limits ning bound as x approaches to a. So daan sa negative infinite, nagka-decrease siya without limit as x approaches to a. So kani increase nagkataas, kani nagka-gamay. So the same is true if x is approaches to a is replaced with x approaches to a from the right or x from the left. Okay, basi galibog mo dani ha. Gikuan na gi-assume na nato kung ang answer niya is positive infinite and kung ang answer ani is negative infinite, ang meaning ana is this one. Gi-assume ba na nato? Mahilig ba tag-assume? Okay. So here for limit theorem 12, If a is any real number, and if limit f of x as x approaches to a is equal to c, where c is a non-zero constant, and the limit of g of x as x approaches to a is equal to 0, then, okay, then if c is greater than 0, and g of x approaches to 0 through positive values of g of x, so the limit of f of x over g of x as x approaches to a is equal to positive infinite. So ato isa-isahon. So if a daw, kung ato ang a kani approaches to a is any real number, and if limit of f of x as x approaches to a is equal to c, constant, wherein ang ato ang c is non-zero constant. So dili siya zero nga constant ta. So 1, 2, 3 up to infinite basta dili siya non-zero. Dili siya zero. And the limit of g of x as x approaches to a is equal to 0. So ato ang g of x is equal to 0 daw. So kani g of x is equal to 0. Di ba? 0, denominator is 0. Then there is atong
Yes,
f
sir.
of x is ang constant number wherein ang ato ang a is any real number. So for example, f of x na to answer sa atong f of x is 2 over 0. Answer na siya 2 over 0. Unya ato ang x approaching to 1. So ang answer ana niya is positive infinite. So 0 through positive values of g of x. So positive infinite. So dara, kung ato ang c is greater than 0 na pod, and the g of x 0 through negative values of g of x. So 0 through negative values. So ato ang g of x is 0. 0, wait sa ato i-analyze. 0. F of x is positive constant numbers, non-zero constant number. The ato ang g of x is 0 through negative values. So constant. So mo lagi to. So ato ang constant c is greater than 0. So kung mas dako pa siya sa 0 ang ato ang f of x sa taas. And ato ang g of x is 0 through negative values of g of x. So kung paingon siya through negative values of g of x. That's why negative infinite. Wait sa kaya ako mismo galibog. Oh my god. Sige, ato sa basahon eh. Naman day sample sa ubos. Okay kani. Kung ato ang c is less than 0 and g of x approaching to 0 through positive values of g of x. Ah! Okay, nasabta na nako. Balik tas taas. So g of x approaching to 0 through positive values of g of x. So na siya 0, 0 diri 0 up to unsa positive man, so 0 raised to power of positive. Diri 0 raised to power of negative. Diri if c is less than 0 daw. Kung ato ang c is less than 0, so may mo siya negative 2 ana less than 0. Then, ang iyang 0 is positive values man of g of x. So, 0 raised to the power of positive. So, ato ang answer is negative infinite. So, here, sa ubos na pod, less than na po si constant of 0. And 0 raised to the power of negative values. So, that's why ang ato ang answer is positive infinite. So, the theorem is also valid if x approaches to a is replaced with either a x raised to the power of a raised to the power... x approaches to a raised to the power of positive, or a from the right and or x raised to power noon sa naman ko as x approaches to a from the left. Okay, we have here an example. So example, the limit of 3 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 from the right. So if you let f of x is equal to 3 and the g of x is equal to x plus 2, then the limit of f of x as x approaches to 2 from the right, the limit of is equal to the limit of 3 as x approaches to 2 positive is equal to 3. Ato. So the limit of 3 daw is constant man siya, so 3 lang siya. 'Di ba? Constant is 3. So next na po, limit sa ato ang denominator, the limit of x approaches to 2 positive, dara x minus 2. So 2 raised to power of positive. So 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. So with positive value, since x is greater than 2 man, ato ang x, tura. X, which is 2 from the right man, from the right, is greater than 2. And the limit of 3 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2 from the right. So that's why ang ato ang ibutang sa denominator is equal to 0 from the right. 3 over 0 from the right. Diba? Kaya ang gingon man diri is greater than ang ato ang x sa iyahang 2. Ato sa taas. Si x na to is greater than sa 2. Unya ang ato ang constant is pila? 3. So ato ang constant is 3. Ato 3 is greater than 0. And ang ato ang 0 is positive, di ba? So that's why positive infinite siya. So 0 positive man siya. Okay? Positive ang ato ang x. Gisubstitute na to kay x dire. So 2 positive. 2 positive minus 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Bili na to ang ato ang positive sign. So that's why natay 0 positive. Since ang ato ang constant is greater than man sa ato ang dara, ay sa ato ang x, which is 2. So that's why ang ato ang limit is positive infinite. Sabta na? Okay. So if ever kani ato ang x dire is mas unsa man, dako siya sa ato ang c. Dako siya sa atong constant, then positive dani unsa toy giingon? If c tara gamay siya sa ato ang 0 pero positive siya, so ang ato ang answer is negative infinite. Or if c is greater than ay less than 0, so inag 0 raised to power of negative man, so negative infinite. So magdepende ra siya sa iyahang mga answers diani and sa iyang conditions para ma-determine nato ang iyahang limit kung positive infinite ba or negative infinite. So we usually use the notation 0 raised to power of positive to mean 0 from the right and 0 raised to power of negative to mean 0 from the left. So we have here another example. The limit I let h of x is equal to 2 square root of 2 plus x over x. Find the limit of h of x as x approaches to 0 from the left and the limit of h of x as x approaches to 0 from the right. So we have here the solution. If f of x is equal to square root of 2 plus x and the g of x is x, then the limit of f of h of x as x approaches to 0 from the left is equal to the limit of f of x over g of x as x approaches to 0 from the left. And the limit of f of x is equal to square root of 2 So square root of 2 plus x ni, nawala ang plus x. Well, the limit of g of x, ang g of x na to is ang denominator niya, is x approaches to 0 from the left is equal to kani. Okay. Ay, so square root of 2 ra din siya kay gi-answer naman nato ang limit niya daan. Okay, ato isa-isahon. The limit of x the limit of square root of 2 plus x over x as x approaches to 0 from the left. Okay, the square root of this one. So 2 plus 0 from the left. 2 plus 0 is equal to 0. Ay, 2. Diba? 2 plus 0 is equal to 2. So, nabili na to dire is square root of 2. Ayaw na to i-mind si negative. Ayaw na to i-mind ha. So, nabili na to is square root of 2. And over, si x na to is, substitute na to diretso si 0 from the left. So, that's why natay 0 from the left here. So, square root of 2 over square root, ay 0 from the left is equal to negative infinite. Nga naman, kung sa ito giingon, if c, so kaning c na to is square root of 2 is pila?
Greater than 0. 2.
Okay.
Ay,
Square root of
1.
2? 1? Sure ka? Taka
Eh, dili to di.
Dili, 1 point something. Dili.
1 point.
Square root of 2 is 1 point something. Basta 1 point something. It is greater than 0 man siya, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, greater than 0. Pero ang ato ang denominator during a 0 is negative man.
Negative.
So, ato ang is ibutang is negative. Infinite. Tanaw na po mo balik dito sa taas.
Sir.
Dara. C is greater than 0. So, ato ang g of x is 0 negative man. So, ato ang answer is negative infinite. Ano to? Okay, more na siya. So, for your firm up, find the limit and indicate the limit theorems used. So, inyo ang pangitaon ang limit niya using tong mga limit theorems nga discuss na to sa taas. Tapos, inyo ibutang unsay mga limit theorem na gamit na to. Ang limit theorem 1 ba? 2, 3, di ba naman to yung mga constant? So, kanina may constant number. So, ato ang gigamitan og katong constant, limit of a constant o sa tong number 2. So, inyo i-indicate on sa nga limit theorem. And so on. So, for your depend, answer na pod na. And for your transfer, if f of x is equal to x squared minus 1 over x minus 1, why does f of 1 not exist? Show that limit of f of x as x approaches to 1 exists and find its value. So, nga no dang f of 1, wala siya ga-exist. Kung ato i-substitute diretso si 1,
Total man 0.
mahimo man siya denominator niya 0, di ba? Nga nung wala man siya ga-exist. Kamu na mag-explain, ana. Then here,
explain na, sir.
Yeah. Here, inyong pangitaon.
Mas kaduhang answer, sir.
Oo. Tulog yun. Sketch pa man ninyo.
Tulog.
So, dire, the limit of f of x as x approaches to 1, ipakita ninyo kung giunsa niya pag-exist. Unsaon niya pag-exist o pangitaon ninyo ang iyang value. So, gamitan ninyo atong unsa factor. 'Di ba? Inyong main goal is to cancel out the denominator. Okay, factor nyo si taas. Okay, and lastly is you need to sketch the graph of f. So, sketch ninyo ni. Kung dili ninyo makaya, gamitin niyo GeoGebra. What's the use of GeoGebra kung dili na to gamiton, di ba? Gamitin niyo GeoGebra.
GeoGebra?
GeoGebra. GeoGebra.
Ay.
Ito man ginagamit ako sa inyo sa una.
Sir.
Yung pang-graph, sir.
Oo. Nana siya sa cellphone. Okay, klaro na. Wala na tayo question.
Wala na, sir.
Okay, nagdaya pangutanan inyong mga classmate. Kamu na bahala og tubag. Kamu may nakasudan eh. Pre-upload na ko ni.
Wala, sir.
Unsa?
Vincent Taybala.
Hmm.
I-upload na ko na yun niya.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sige na, wala na yung question.
Wala na, sir.
Wala na.
Sige, bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Palot na, Edward. So na ako alot
Sir,
ba? Palot na. So na ako alot.